Hi friends, it's Sarah from rufflesandrainboots.com, and today we're going to be making some wine charms. I'm going to include a free file for everybody, so if you'd like to make them, stick around. So today I'm going to be sharing how I used my xTool M1 laser to cut, engrave, and put these together. However, if you have a Cricut, a Silhouette, or any other blade cutting machine, you can use these free files as well. You'll want to buy the blanks, buy the wine charm tags, and then you can use vinyl. Now, if you have a maker with an engraving tip, you can even buy the acrylic blanks and engrave it right on your machine. So, why I think that you should make these, why I think they're a great project. Number one, they're quick to make. They are also very inexpensive to make. This entire set of charms and tassels was a couple of bucks on Amazon. So you can see how well these will sell in your craft booth or at a market. You can also get entire sets created for people and give these away to family, friends, church members. These are really easy gifts that you can make all year round. You can make them in tons of themes. So if you have a dog lover, go grab some dog SVGs. If you have a book lover, grab these free ones. So speaking of the designs, we have 4. Book nerd, bookmarks are for quitters, books are my love language, and just one more chapter. After I cut these, I sprayed them with a couple coats of spray varnish and added the charms and tassels. So in order to use these files, you're going to go up to File and import the SVG. This is just one way to do it. It's not my preferred way because you will have to adjust this file. So you'll have to select everything, size it down, make sure it's about 1.5 inches. Each of these are 1.5 inches. Then you'll have to select each design, indicate which portion is engraved and which portion is cut. And if you've never done this, everything needs to be set. So I highlight everything, unselect the outside and choose engrave for the inside, select only the outside and choose cut. Also, you'll see this section above that says output or ignore. Make sure it's all on output. Ignore means the system won't send that portion to the machine. Choose whatever you're working with, laser flat or open plane. I also have a honeycomb, so that's why I'm choosing open plane. I choose my material and I auto measure that laser's focus. If you're importing the XCS files, you just go to File, Open, and then choose your XCS file. And it's already sized for you. Everything is already indicated, whether it's cut or engraved. As a designer, I think this portion of the XCS software is amazing as long as we make sure it stays in place. So always double check. But again, you're going to choose your platform, you're going to choose material, you're going to auto focus by hitting auto measure. Up here at the top right, I'm also going to validate my settings. For these, I want them to be 1.5 inches, so I go to settings and choose from millimeter to inch just to be sure. At the bottom down here in layers, you can also decide, like you can also see everything in layer 2 is engraved, everything in layer 1 is cut. And down below the score engrave and cut section, you can choose your settings for power, speed, and passes, and then even lines. So if you are new, I recommend running a test. Basswood is very inexpensive, so a test is a good idea. Here you can see my machine. This is the M1 10 watt engraving and cutting, and this is real time. I do have the honeycomb riser system and I have the air assist, and both of those help to make my cuts a little cleaner, reduce a lot of the kerf out of the way of the actual design. Honestly, pretty impressed with this just reference setting here. This default setting looks pretty okay. I'll show you in just a minute. I do play around with it though. So before I take anything engraving out, over the last few months I learned do not touch it, and the best way not to touch it is tape it. So I'm going to be using tape, and I like to put it on before I take it out of my machine and then remove the tape, because I'm going to rub my hand over the actual design of each of these before I remove that tape. So you can see I'm just going to rub it. You'll see an outside ring of that charring being removed, and then I'm going to pop out this little section here. It's going to stick to the tape. Do not toss your tape. We'll be using it in just a second to reduce even more opportunities to smudge.
But you can see here, again, I'm pretty impressed with how this came out right out of the laser. So here's a little close-up. That's my favorite one. So I'm going to run each of these along the outside edge of that tape, and that way I'm reducing the ability to smudge. You can see I smudged the book nerd a little bit, and now I'm going to test this. I have been using microfiber and non-lint wipes, and somebody mentioned a baby wipe. So this was the first project I used a baby wipe on, and will tell you it did an okay job, but basswood when unsealed can absorb moisture fairly easily. So do get your baby wipe to air dry a little bit before you use it, because I did have some moisture before I took these outside and sealed, which means I had to wait. So I ran a couple of tests here on increasing the power, decreasing the speed, and just seeing if I could get my engravings a little darker. It's hard to tell. I'll show you up close. Honestly, it didn't make that big of a difference, so the reference actually worked for me really well, but I would like to know what you think. Do you think you can find any difference in those two? As always, thank you so much for being here. Leave a comment down below for me, and like, share, and subscribe for more crafty fun.